In this fast-paced world, many of us strive for success, working tirelessly to reach the top. We chase after goals that we believe will bring us happiness, wealth, recognition, titles, and achievements. We measure our worth by these external markers, assuming that once we reach them, we will feel fulfilled. But have you ever found yourself standing on top of the world, surrounded by everything you thought you ever wanted, yet still feeling a sense of emptiness within? Have you ever wondered why, despite achieving so much, something still seems to be missing? This is the truth that Buddhism teaches us. External success, the kind that is driven by external validation, is an illusion. We are often caught in an endless chase for things, for titles, for accomplishments, and we become trapped in this cycle of attachment. But what is attachment? The Buddha teaches us that attachment is the root of all suffering. It's not just our attachment to material possessions or wealth, but also our attachment to ideas, to identities, to the approval of others, and to the expectations we place on ourselves and those around us. From a young age, we are taught that success is measured by external factors. The more we achieve, the more we are admired, the more we gain, the more complete we feel. But in this endless pursuit, we lose sight of something far more important, the essence of who we truly are. We become so focused on what the world expects from us, what others think of us, and what we believe we need to achieve in order to feel worthy, that we forget to ask ourselves, who am I truly, without all these external labels? The Buddhist teachings provide us with a profound truth. The root of suffering lies in our attachment. We are not just attached to physical things, but also to mental constructs, our identity, our ego, our idea of what success should look like. This attachment to external validation traps us in a cycle of constant striving. We constantly chase after the next milestone, believing that once we achieve it, we will be complete. But the reality is, once we achieve one goal, another one quickly replaces it. We think that by accumulating more, we will find peace, but peace is never found in external things. Imagine for a moment if we stopped chasing. If we paused for a moment, let go of the need for validation, and turned inward. What would we find? Buddhism teaches us that true success is not about the things we collect or the titles we acquire. True success is about cultivating inner peace. It is about the peace that comes from understanding that we are enough, just as we are, without needing to prove anything to anyone. True success is the ability to be content in the present moment, to find joy and satisfaction not in what we have or don't have, but in the simple act of being. But in order to experience this peace, we must first let go of our attachment to external success. This is not easy. Society constantly reminds us that we need to achieve, to accumulate, and to prove our worth. The pressure to perform, to be seen as successful, is immense. But this pursuit of external success only keeps us trapped in a cycle of frustration and dissatisfaction. No matter how much we achieve, it is never enough to fill the void we feel inside. The Buddha's wisdom teaches us that true fulfillment comes not from acquiring more, but from letting go. It is in the act of releasing our attachment to external validation that we find freedom. When we let go of the need to constantly chase after success, we open the door to a deeper, more lasting form of happiness. This happiness does not depend on external circumstances. It comes from within. It is the peace that arises when we stop trying to control everything and simply allow life to unfold as it is. The journey to inner peace is not about renouncing the world or abandoning our dreams. It is about understanding that true happiness does not come from external achievements or possessions, but from a shift in our mindset. It is about finding contentment in the present moment, regardless of what we have or do not have. It is about realizing that we are enough, right now, without needing to prove anything to anyone. In the world of Buddhism, we are reminded that everything in life is impermanent. The things we chase, the success we strive for, the goals we set, all of these are temporary. They are like waves in the ocean, constantly changing. But the peace we seek, the true success we long for, is not found in these external things. It is found in the stillness within, in the acceptance of what is, and in the recognition that we are already whole. So I invite you to pause. Take a moment to reflect on what you are chasing in your own life. Are you chasing external success because you believe it will bring you fulfillment? Or are you seeking peace within yourself, independent of what the world says you should achieve? What would happen if you let go of the constant need for validation and simply embraced who you are right now? The Buddhist teachings remind us that true happiness is not found in the external world, but in our ability to let go of attachment. It is in the cultivation of inner peace, in the freedom that comes from being at peace with ourselves, that we find true success. We do not need to chase anything outside ourselves to feel complete. We are already enough. As you continue on your journey, remember that true success is not about accumulating more, but about letting go of what no longer serves you. It is about finding peace within yourself and embracing the present moment. In this way, you will discover that true success is not measured by the things you gather, but by the peace you cultivate within. There's a weight we all carry, though it's not always visible to the naked eye. This weight doesn't come from physical burdens, but from deep within, the emotional weight of past wounds, the heavy cloak of unspoken regrets, and the ever-present pressure of expectations. These are the burdens we tend to overlook. We live much of our lives driven by the need to please others, to measure our worth by their approval, and to seek validation from outside ourselves. Whether it's the approval of family, colleagues, or society at large, we are often caught in a cycle of striving to meet standards that may not even align with who we truly are. In the teachings of Buddhism, the Buddha spoke of attachment as the root of suffering. We are attached to many things, things we accumulate, beliefs we hold, and identities we form. But perhaps the most insidious attachment is to the opinions of others. We shape our lives around what others think of us. We make decisions based on what we believe will earn us their praise, their acceptance, their love. This attachment to others' opinions ties us down, limiting our freedom and robbing us of our peace of mind. Think for a moment. How often do you make choices, big or small, because you want to be accepted or admired by others? Have you ever chosen a path not because it was true to you, but because it was what society or a particular individual expected of you? What if we could stop and think about how many decisions we've made just to fit into a mold, to please others, or to avoid judgment? This pursuit for external validation is exhausting. It doesn't matter how many accomplishments we collect, how many titles we earn, or how many people tell us how great we are. There's always a part of us that feels unfulfilled. It's as if we're always reaching for something just beyond our grasp, chasing approval that seems to slip through our fingers like sand. But what if we could let go of this constant need to seek validation? Imagine living your life not for others, but for yourself. Imagine living without the weight of others' expectations, without the pressure to conform to a mold that was never made for you. True freedom, the Buddha taught, doesn't come from the approval of others, but from embracing your own truth. True freedom comes when we stop searching for something outside of ourselves to fill the void inside. It comes when we let go of the chains that bind us to the opinions of others, and when we begin to live from a place of authenticity and inner peace. The Buddha urged us to look inward, to cultivate a sense of self that doesn't rely on the fluctuating approval of others. What would it be like to no longer base your self-worth on someone else's opinion? To live each day not as a reflection of what others expect, but as a true expression of who you are. When we embrace our growth, we step out of the shadows of others' expectations and step into the light of our own purpose. Imagine a life where your decisions are rooted in self-awareness, in alignment with your own values, and not in the fear of judgment. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of peace, knowing that your worth doesn't depend on how others see you, but on who you truly are deep inside. The attachment to the opinions of others weighs us down, but the release of that attachment brings an unimaginable lightness to the soul. When we no longer seek approval from the world, we open ourselves to the possibility of living freely, authentically, and peacefully. The Buddhist teachings remind us that the journey to inner peace requires us to stop chasing after the approval of others and to begin embracing our own truth. It requires us to let go of the need to be validated externally and to cultivate self-love and self-acceptance. It's not an easy path, but it is the path to true freedom. Letting go of the weight of others' opinions doesn't mean we stop caring about others. It means that we no longer base our identity on their approval. It means that we can be compassionate toward others, but without sacrificing ourselves in the process. It means living with integrity and alignment to our values, knowing that our worth is not defined by external forces, but by the essence of who we are. When we are no longer burdened by the need for approval, we are free to explore life on our own terms. We become liberated from the fear of judgment, free from the anxiety of needing to meet impossible standards. We become our truest selves, strong, grounded, and at peace with who we are. The Buddha once said, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This is the essence of what it means to release attachment to the opinions of others. It is the understanding that our value does not come from outside sources, but from the love and acceptance we offer ourselves. So take a moment to reflect on your own life. Ask yourself, how much of my energy goes into seeking approval from others? How many times have I made decisions based on what others might think? And most importantly, what would it be like to live without that weight? Imagine the freedom, the peace, the joy that would come from living fully as yourself without the chains of external validation. True freedom, as the Buddha teaches, lies in embracing who you are, without fear, without hesitation, and without attachment to the judgments of others. When you free yourself from the need to please everyone, you give yourself the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace, authenticity, and a life lived on your own terms. In a world where time seems to slip through our fingers faster than we can hold on to it, we often find ourselves chasing after fleeting achievements, ambitions, and validations that promise to bring us happiness. We run from task to task, racing against the clock, and in the process, we become disconnected from the most important aspect of our lives, ourselves. And we are so absorbed in the noise of the world, the constant hum of emails, meetings, and social expectations, that we forget the simple yet profound power of silence. We live in an age of constant stimulation. Every moment is filled with distractions, whether from our phones, the demands of work, or the expectations of society. But in the pursuit of success, we often neglect the very thing that can bring us true peace: stillness. The Buddha, with his timeless wisdom, understood that true peace is not something that can be found in external accomplishments, titles, or recognition. It is not in the accolades we gather or the positions we climb to. True peace, according to the teachings of Buddhism, is found within. The Buddha taught us that meditation is not about emptying the mind of all thoughts. Rather, it is about observing our thoughts without attachment or judgment. In the stillness of meditation, we become the silent witness to the flow of our minds. Thoughts come and go like clouds drifting across the sky, and we learn not to hold on to them or push them away. We let them pass by, knowing that they are not who we truly are. In that space of pure awareness, we reconnect with our true nature, the essence of who we are beyond the roles we play, the expectations we carry, and the identities we cling to. How often do we pause to simply be with ourselves? How often do we give ourselves the gift of stillness, free from distractions? The Buddha's teachings invite us to take a step back from the hustle and bustle of life and rediscover the profound peace that exists in the quiet spaces within. For many of us, the world outside can feel overwhelming. It is easy to become swept up in the tide of societal pressure, trying to meet the standards set by others. But the truth is, we will never find peace in the noise of the world. The world will always demand more, ask for more, and take more. But true peace, as the Buddha showed, is found in the present moment, in stillness, in the silence that exists between thoughts. When was the last time you sat quietly, with no distractions, no agenda, no need to do anything at all? It's easy to think that in stillness, we are doing nothing, but in truth, it is in those moments that we are doing the most important thing we can do: reconnecting with ourselves. It is in the silence that we hear the deepest truths, the ones that have been drowned out by the noise of our busy lives. When we stop and listen to the stillness, we begin to hear the wisdom that has always been within us. We remember who we truly are, beings of peace, compassion, and wisdom. Think of the times in your life when you have felt overwhelmed, when you have been trapped in the whirlwind of your thoughts and emotions. Perhaps you have found yourself caught in a cycle of worry, stress, or frustration, unable to break free from the constant stream of thoughts. In those moments, the world can feel like a heavy burden. But the Buddhist teachings remind us that the source of our suffering is not the world itself, but our attachment to it. It is our attachment to the expectations we place on ourselves and others that creates the pressure we feel. When we can let go of that attachment, even if only for a moment, we can find peace. In the stillness, we come to understand that the world is not something we need to control or manipulate. It simply is. Our attachment to the need for control is often what causes us the most suffering. When we are able to let go of that need and accept the impermanence of life, we can finally find peace. The Buddhist teachings remind us that everything in life is transient. The moments we experience, the people we love, the accomplishments we achieve, everything changes. But in the silence, we come to realize that the only constant is the peace that resides within us, waiting for us to acknowledge it. True peace is not something we have to strive for or earn. It is already within us, buried beneath layers of distraction, fear, and attachment. But to access it, we must be willing to let go. We must be willing to sit in the silence, to observe our thoughts, to let them come and go without judgment. It is in that space of acceptance and awareness that we can finally experience the peace that the Buddha spoke of. We often think that in order to find peace, we need to achieve something, to be someone, to have something. But the Buddha teaches us that peace is not found in achievements or possessions. It is found in our willingness to be present in the moment, to let go of our attachments, and to simply be. It is in stillness that we find the clarity to see the truth of our lives, the truth of who we are. And in that clarity, we find peace. So I ask you, when was the last time you took a moment to simply be still, to sit in silence, to let your thoughts pass by like clouds in the sky? When was the last time you gave yourself the gift of quiet reflection, free from the demands of the outside world? The Buddhist teachings invite us to find peace in the stillness, to reconnect with the quiet place within ourselves where true peace resides. It is in that space, beyond the noise and distractions of life, that we can find the freedom and serenity we have been searching for all along. In the stillness, we can rediscover our true selves. We can remember that we are not defined by the roles we play or the titles we hold. We are not our thoughts, our emotions, or our circumstances. We are beings of peace, compassion, and wisdom capable of living fully and authentically in the present moment. When we learn to embrace stillness, we embrace the very essence of who we are. True peace is not a distant goal to be achieved. It is a reality that is already within us, waiting to be uncovered. And when we find peace within, we find peace in the world around us. We become the calm in the storm, the light in the darkness, the stillness in the chaos. And that, my friends, is the true path to happiness. So take a moment today to pause, take a breath, and in that breath, find the stillness that resides within you. Let go of the noise, let go of the distractions, and simply be. In that moment, you will find peace. Have you ever felt trapped, burdened by your past, or overwhelmed by the constant need to control every aspect of your life? You might find yourself holding on tightly to old wounds, memories of disappointments, or even to expectations of how things should unfold. But what if I told you that true freedom comes not from controlling every moment, but from learning to let go of the very things that weigh you down? In Buddhism, letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is an essential part of the journey to inner peace. It's not about abandoning everything you care for or losing your way in life. Rather, it's about releasing the attachments that cause you unnecessary suffering. The Buddhist teachings reveal that our attachments to things, ideas, and even to outcomes often lead to more pain than we realize. We hold on to the past, clinging to past hurts, regrets, and disappointments, believing that if we just keep holding on, we can fix what is broken or control what is uncertain. But the truth is, this act of clinging creates a cycle of frustration. No matter how tightly we grip onto these things, they do not bring us peace. In fact, they only continue to bind us to the very suffering we hope to escape. The need for control, the desire to have things go according to our plan, leads us further away from true happiness. Now imagine a different way of being. What if you could release the need to fix everything in your life? What if you could stop trying to control every moment, every outcome, and instead simply allowed yourself to be in flow with life's natural rhythm? The concept of letting go in Buddhism does not mean abandoning your dreams, hopes, or responsibilities. It doesn't mean that you stop caring or stop trying. It means recognizing that there are things beyond your control. It means accepting that sometimes, no matter how hard you try, things will not unfold as you expect them to. And that's okay. Letting go is an act of trust. It's a recognition that there is a greater flow to life, and that while we cannot control everything, we can control how we respond to life's changes. Imagine surrendering the heavy burdens you carry, the emotional baggage, the regrets, the expectations, and replacing them with trust in the natural unfolding of things. When you let go, you open yourself up to receiving what life has to offer in its most authentic form. You free yourself from the grip of control, and in doing so, you create the space for true freedom. Freedom, as the Buddha teaches, is not about doing whatever we want or escaping from life's challenges. True freedom comes from releasing the attachments that bind us to suffering. It's about recognizing that we do not need to hold on to the past, to anger, to fear, or to disappointment in order to move forward. We are not defined by our past mistakes or failures. We are not confined to the expectations others have for us. By letting go of these attachments, we can find the peace we have been searching for. Letting go is not a one-time act. It is a continual practice. Every day, we are presented with opportunities to release the things that no longer serve us. Whether it is an old grudge, a failed expectation, or a fear of the future, letting go requires a willingness to trust the process of life. It requires us to be vulnerable, to open our hearts, and to embrace the uncertainty of what lies ahead. The more we practice letting go, the easier it becomes to live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. In Buddhism, the path to freedom is not about striving for perfection or seeking control. It is about cultivating an attitude of acceptance, mindfulness, and surrender. Through meditation and self-reflection, we come to realize that everything in life is impermanent. Our emotions, our thoughts, our situations, they are all temporary. By acknowledging the impermanence of life, we learn to release our attachments to them. We no longer need to hold on to what is fleeting because we understand that it will pass. In this understanding, we find peace. So I ask you today, what is it that you are holding on to? What attachments are you clinging to that no longer serve your peace and growth? Are you holding on to past hurts, anger, or disappointment? Are you desperately trying to control the outcomes of your life, only to find that you are never truly satisfied? The Buddha reminds us that suffering comes from attachment, but the path to freedom is through the art of letting go. It's time to release the burdens you carry and trust that life will unfold as it is meant to. In letting go, you will find peace. In surrendering, you will find freedom. This is the essence of true happiness, the ability to let go and live fully in the present moment. As you embark on this journey of letting go, remember that it is not about giving up on life, but about embracing life as it is, without attachment. Letting go is not about weakness, but about strength. The strength to trust that everything will work out in its own time and in its own way. By practicing the art of letting go, you will begin to experience the true freedom that the Buddha spoke of. And in that freedom, you will find the peace you have been searching for. In the journey of life, we often think of healing as something that needs to be fixed or corrected. We look at ourselves and the world around us, and we see imperfections. We focus on what is wrong, what is broken, what is missing. But in Buddhism, true healing is not about fixing the external world or even ourselves. It's about embracing what is. It's about accepting the present moment as it is, without the need for judgment or correction. The Buddha taught us that true peace, true healing, comes from within, and it is rooted in compassion. Compassion is the highest form of success, not the success defined by wealth, power, or external validation, but the success that comes from living authentically, from understanding that we are all human and we all deserve love, kindness, and care. To live authentically is to embrace the present with all its imperfections. It's to acknowledge that we are not perfect, and that is okay. We live in a world that constantly pressures us to be something else, to meet certain standards, to chase after achievements, recognition, and success. But when we live from a place of inner peace, when we let go of the need for validation, we find that the joy we seek is not found in what we accomplish, but in who we become. The bond is in the acceptance of ourselves as we are, in the compassion we show to ourselves, and in the compassion we extend to others. In Buddhism, compassion is not just a practice, it is the essence of being. It is the understanding that we are all interconnected, that the suffering of one is the suffering of all, and that to heal the world, we must first heal ourselves. Compassion is the key to that healing. It is the key to living a life of fulfillment and joy. It is the foundation upon which all other virtues rest. Living with compassion means embracing not only the joy of others, but also the pain. It means accepting the flaws and struggles of the people around us and offering them the same understanding and love that we offer ourselves. Compassion is not just for others, it is also for ourselves. We must learn to be kind to ourselves, to forgive ourselves, to let go of guilt, shame, and the constant striving for perfection. We must learn to sit with our own pain, acknowledge it, and allow it to pass, just as we would with the pain of others.